Oh, what to do with Aaron Jones, what to do with Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, and much, much more. All right, here we go.
Now turn up.
What up? This is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dads. We do daily Dynasty videos, and we had a lot of free agent stuff happen on Sunday. So, of course, I'm creating this video here on For You Monday. This is a free Brandon Ayuk jersey. All you have to do is be a subscriber for a chance to win at the end of March, and one of you will get that jersey. So let's start with Aaron Jones. That was the biggest news. He signed a 4-year, $48 million deal with the Green Bay Packers. Ultimately, this was super surprising for me. I thought that Aaron Jones was, if you would have told me percentage chance that Aaron Jones goes somewhere else, I would have said probably 50-60% chance. We're talking, it's pretty high up there. You look at his stats, also, they're great. The stats that he's had the last 2 years are really good, but we have to project out what is going to be happening forward. Jamal Williams is now likely gone. Green Bay is in a cap situation. And it just makes no sense of why they drafted A.J. Dillon if this was the plan all along. If the plan all along was just to keep Aaron Jones along, then why draft A.J. Dillon with a high draft pick, a second-round draft pick? Why draft Jordan Love? It doesn't make sense. I'm a Vikings fan, but Green Bay is one of our arch nemesis, and we don't like them, and it just doesn't make any sense of what they're doing. So a lot of times you have to follow the money. Well, where's their money at? Well, Green Bay's tied up in a lot of money. Now this means that they're not going to be able to keep their awesome Pro Bowl center. Okay, well, would you rather have a center or a running back that, yes, you would love Aaron Jones, but ultimately A.J. Dillon and another running back, or A.J. Dillon and Jamal Williams should suffice at the running back position. That's beside the point. But let's look at what dynasty value we're looking at. Because Aaron Jones was not in my top 10 because I thought he was going to go somewhere else. But now that we know he's going to be a Packer for the next 4 years, at least the next couple of years unless he gets cut, at 26 years old, so he's still a somewhat younger guy. We're talking still 1, 2, 3 years of good prime fantasy ability. He has now jumped into my top 10 in Dynasty football. I still think that his stats of almost 1,100 yards the last 2 times on the ground, he may be a little bit less than that. He's had 474 yards and 355 receiving. He might be around that, I could see, because I think he will be the receiving back. His 19 total touchdowns and 11 total touchdowns, I could see him more of the 11. He's been a top 5 fantasy running back the last 2 years. I could see him being a lower RB1 the next couple of years, into that 7 to 10 range, because I think some of the other running backs are going to jump into that tier with him. So where do I have him ultimately in fantasy? I have him into that 9-10 range in Dynasty football, which is a big jump for Aaron Jones. So if you're an Aaron Jones person that kept him, good for you. But now what do we do with A.J. Dillon? Because we know that it doesn't really affect Aaron. If Aaron Rodgers, it just helps him more because he still has Aaron Jones as weapon. For Devontae Adams, it doesn't matter to him. He's gonna get his pie. He's gonna piece of his pie, his big pie. So where do we go with A.J. Dillon? A.J. Dillon was my most underrated running back because we thought when you follow money, logic, draft capital, everything, it said A.J. Dillon was going to be the next man up. And in a lot of situations, that's the case. But these running backs, Kamara, Cook, and now Aaron Jones, and even Mixon, are all signing these second-year deals in the same team, which has been different lately. So what do we do with A.J. Dillon? Well, ultimately, A.J. Dillon's value stays about to where he was. I thought he was very underrated, but in some cases, he was overrated, actually. What I see for him is being primarily a goal line back and a back that is going to be spelling basically Aaron Jones. I still think that if you looked at Jamal Williams' stats, you could see A.J. Dillon having these flex opportunities, these RB3 weeks, but we're talking about a running back now. Unless Aaron Jones is hurt, he is probably one of the most valuable handcuffs. A.J. Dillon is a very, very valuable handcuff. And in this moment, he's probably worth a second-round pick in Dynasty. And that's probably where you drafted him. He's probably worth a mid-2021 first-round pick because of the ultimate handcuff. We know that it's not long-term stability there. Mid to late second-round pick. That is different than his value, which was probably an early second-round pick, which I thought his value was a first-round pick, a later first-round pick. So his value's dropped. All right, besides that, so A.J. Dillon down, of course. It's unfortunate. He was underrated. Now he's overrated. That's fantasy stocks there for you. It's like cryptocurrency. It's going crazy. That's what happens. All right, let's go to the Saints. We have the Saints here. We have a couple of big player names that are going to be affected here. Taysom Hill signs this huge monstrosity of a quarterback contract. 4 years, $140 million, but a lot of it can be voided. So it's kind of up in the air of like, will he be the quarterback? Will Winston be the quarterback? Ultimately, Drew Brees is retired, so Michael Thomas and Kamara take a hit because Brees was the perfect quarterback for those players and those situations. So Michael Thomas now, in my mind, if you're a contender, yeah, this would be a good time to probably be like, all right, if I'm a contender, he's probably worth a mid to later first and a QE1. But don't expect more. Kamara, this might be a good time to actually sell Kamara and be like, I'm not going to deal with that offense. I'm going to grab Dobbins and an earlier first from somebody. I'm going to grab maybe Swift and a first from somebody. I'm going to grab CH and hopefully you can get a first into that package as well. And I think you can because Kamara is still young and CH is still relatively unknown, or he's still relatively, I shouldn't say unknown, but just relatively has not performed yet. So when we're talking about like Kamara or that sophomore running back plus a first, a lot of people have been asking, which would you rather have? I'm taking the sophomore running back plus a first. Hopefully you can get a mid to early first. That top 7 pick, I prefer a top 5 pick because then you can really start choosing the pick of your litter. But that's what I would take. I would see if you can get those trades. I haven't even looked at the calculators to see if that works. That's close, but that's what I would assume that if you're a contender on the opposite end, if you're going for a championship, then Kamara is your guy. I mean, you still have another year or two left of him. Michael Thomas now, but Michael Thomas is again going to be a wide receiver that I think is going to be very inconsistent, especially with an offense that we have a lot of unknown pieces about, and them struggling with money. So, Michael Thomas, I said, and Kamara's, I said that their values are going slightly down. So, A.J. Dillon, down. Kamara, down. Michael Thomas, down. Aaron Jones, shooting up. That's pretty much all. I mean, that's pretty much the consensus of what's going on, and I kind of try to get you through there. If there's comments of what exact trades that you've been going through with these specific players, please comment below so that I can help you decide if those are good trades. But please say if you're a contender or a rebuilder, because those are huge changes in dynamics of the trade. But this is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dads, where we do fantasy Dynasty football. All right, here we go. Free jersey time. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.
Now turn up.